This week on Instant Experts, Albo visits the White House and survives.
But strangely, the house has now turned beige.
Trump flip-flops on Ukraine again.
I think he might have been flip-flipping this time, Henry. It's a very fine distinction.
A fine distinction indeed. And two Republican tyros square off for Cunt of the Week.
It is a heavyweight clash of lightweights. Go figure.
Welcome back to Instant Experts, Albo Goes to Washington edition. It's all the latest news explained by idiots. Here to keep you sane in a crazy world. I'm Henry Lee, and as always, I'm here with my dear friend, the Honk. Honky, welcome.
Henry, my dear fellow, what an absolute pleasure to be with you. In fact, be with you in person this week. And you're back from your Bali shenanigans. And what a week. We do say it every week. This is a show about crooks, fuckwits, and morons. And why ever worry about there being enough crooks, fuckwits, and morons? I mean, there were so many this week, we can only do a smorgasbord, a wanky Sydney tasting menu, just with the essence of all the crooks, fuckwits, and morons in the news.
Drizzled with the essence of moron.
Drizzled, pizzled, chiseled, might even be chiseled.
What caught your eye this week, Honk, besides the jizzle?
Well, so much to talk about, as we said, but probably best summed up by this one line from Senator Elizabeth Warren on Wednesday night.
I am proud to join my friend Jeff Merkley in saying this part out loud. Donald Trump is not a king. He will never be a
Spot on.
But if elaboration is even necessary, we surely must start with Aussie Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Albo's visit to Trump at the White House this week.
Now, this is the meeting, Honk, that Albo has been seeking for months.
And that Donald has been avoiding.
Donald's been avoiding it like Albo's his ninth reserve for the formal.
Which, let's face it, Albo is. When they met, he didn't even get the Oval Office. Did you see they got the cabinet room?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the resentful, obligatory, half-hearted goodnight handjob of international diplomacy.
Yeah, it was getting a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? Because he bumped Albo at the G7 summit in Canada in June, allegedly for the crisis in the Middle East.
We previously speculated Trump may have actually created that crisis to avoid seeing Albo.
And then they were meant to get together at the UN in New York in September.
Yes, but then Albo, as we talked about before, thought it was a great idea to recognise Palestine, provided Hamas had no role in it, apart from its current role of being totally in control of it.
There were concerns about how seriously Trump took Australia, took AUKUS, which is our key defence alliance, which we'll talk about shortly.
And obviously also whether Trump would be completely fucking insane for no reason in the meeting.
Anyway, Honk, the meeting finally happened.
How do you think it went?
I thought it went pretty well in the sense that nothing major came out of it and nothing really went too badly wrong. On the relationship management side, he was respectful without overtly blowing Trump. He came off pretty well.
With one beautiful twist, which we'll come back to. On the substantive stuff, I understand there was some deal on critical minerals.
There was. The US and Australia signed an agreement valued at about US $8.5 billion, under which both countries will invest in mining and processing projects in Australia with a price floor mechanism for critical minerals.
Basically, we're going to be digging some new mines.
Exactly.
And the price floor will guarantee that returns are attractive to co-investors. Is that right?
And Australia also agreed to limit strategic asset sales on national security grounds.
That's saying China can't buy any more critical minerals deposits, especially of rare earths, nor any processing facilities in Australia.
Yeah, so the deal is seen as a major strategic step to counter China's dominance in supply chains,
which have allowed it leverage over the US, if I understand it, not just geopolitically, but directly in trade negotiations.
That's right. Now, Honk, shall we bust out our instant expertise on rare earths?
Oh my God, I had a fear this would happen.
Well, sorry, tell me again who played bass on the new Taylor Swift collaboration with John Cena and the ghost of Ace Frehley.
Since you asked, I think it was John Entwistle, wasn't it?
Okay, so Honk, rare earths are basically a whole bunch of elements and compounds that lurk in the outer reaches of the periodic table, sort of that bit down the bottom in the middle, if you can remember from Year 9 science.
I have no idea what's going on down there, but I know it isn't good.
Well, it can be, don't judge. Anyway, there are all sorts of shenanigans happening down there. You've got elements like boron, iron, and neodymium. So they're hooking up in the magnets used in the motors for electric vehicles.
I thought they used muskium in electric vehicles.
They do. There may be some dozium as well.
Surely some jizzium for the 14 kids.
Yes, you've got to go back to episode 4 or 5 for that story.
Now, aren't rare earths used in smartphones as well?
They are. They're used in smartphones and tablets, computer chips, hard drives, medical imaging equipment, lasers, telecommunications, you name it.
So they're like the vitamins of modern technology, small in volume, essential for function.
Exactly. But there's even more. The US Department of Defense lists various rare earths as essential to advanced weapons system. And there are some really freaky ones in the missiles. You've got neodymium again, plus you've got dysprosium, terbium, and samarium.
It's like a rare earth orgy.
It is. They're getting it on in things like jet engines, guidance and targeting systems, missiles and precision-guided munitions, stealth and communication systems. It's on for young and old, honk.
Didn't Trump, I remember, say a couple of weeks back that the stealth bombers were literally invisible, like literally could not be seen?
Yeah, like Wonder Woman's plane. I think he did say that.
Would that make it a bit hard for the mechanics?
It would. Anyway, so the point is there are all these rare earth elements, aka critical minerals, that are needed for important stuff by the US, telcos and defences. The catch is that China controls 60 to 70% of global rare earths production and over 85% of global processing capacity.
US only has one active rare earth mine.
It does. It's in a place called Mountain Pass, California, which is on the way from LA to Vegas.
So does that mean it's dependent on China for processing?
Right, and this concentration gives Beijing massive leverage over the US, which of course Trump hates.
Which is why the US is trying to de-risk by partnering with trusted suppliers like Australia and rebuild domestic refining capacity.
And Canada, by the way, when the US is not threatening to take it over.
Yeah, what's happened to that?
Oh, well, that was 500 scandals ago, honk. You got to move on.
I'm living in the past.
That's right back in Greenland days. Anyway, this deal between Trump and Albanese, part of the US's strategy to insource and so-called friend source supplies of key goods, which it needs to do partly because it has pissed off China so much with all the tariffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, Trump sure picked a great time for the tariffs, and that's if they made any sense in the first place, which, as we've talked about before, they do not.
They do not. So, yes, it was kind of any port in a storm, and the port's Australia. But to be fair, this deal will also drive job creation and continued technological leadership.
So you think it's a good deal for Australia?
It looks like it. And the other good outcome from the meeting was Trump recommitting honk to AUKUS, which is our key defence alliance, as we mentioned. I presume he did that right after someone explained to him that it existed.
AUKUS, that used to be ANZUS, didn't it, before the Kiwis bailed out?
Yeah, it did.
What do the Kiwis rely on now?
Distance, shit weather.
Russell Crowe. And also their reputation. I don't know if you know this is the world's worst lovers.
I did not know that. Have you got something to tell us?
It's not my story. I just think I need to get permission. But it is a doozy. Basically, I have a friend in New Zealand. Anyway,
I'm glad you didn't tell that story.
Yeah, back to the things that the Kiwis now use for protection now.
Well, look at the All Blacks. They could tackle a few Chinese missiles.
China's got more than 15 missiles, doesn't it?
Well, you can bring on the subs, honk.
China's got subs too. I mean, I don't know anything, but I know they've got subs, except they're nuclear subs, not rugby players.
That's true. Anyway, that's why we're in AUKUS. So basically, AUKUS involves Australia paying the US shitloads of money to get some really old subs sometime in the far future.
So if China threatens to invade, we can threaten to nuke Shanghai.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm sure that will go extremely well. AUKUS is also, I remember, this is the alliance where a couple of years ago, under a previous Australian government, Australia fucked over the French who were going to supply us the submarines in favour of the US, wasn't it?
Yes, the French were outraged as well at the suggestion that they couldn't be trusted on security.
It's outrageous. Just separate side note, did you see this week that $150 million worth of ancient royal jewellery was stolen from the Louvre in Paris during opening hours via a window accessed from a ladder attached to a truck in a public street, and the thieves got away scot-free?
Why do you mention that?
No reason. Nothing to do with critical security.
Anyway, back to the Albo Trump meeting. So Albo's main objective here was not to get stuck in the middle of a fight between China and the US. We need the US for protection, but China is by far Australia's biggest trading partner. It buys about $200 billion worth of goods and services from us per year, which is about 30% of our total exports. And we import a lot from China too, obviously, about $115 billion a year.
And that's just to Bunnings, right?
Basically, Albo's small target strategy worked. He got a critical minerals deal. He got a pat on the head from Trump. China doesn't seem too worked up. He's the master of doing not very much. And in this case, it's paid off.
Sounds like it. We did mention, though, one beautiful twist.
At least for those who don't like Kevin Rudd.
Which is basically everyone who votes Liberal in Australia.
Or Labor. Or has ever met him. In any field he's ever worked in his entire life. He's got that great characteristic. The better you know him, the less you like him.
The more you hate him. Kevin Rudd is, of course, Australia's former two-time Prime Minister, current ambassador to the US. He was in the meeting, and this is Trump responding to a question from a reporter from Murdoch's Australian Sky News about Kevin Rudd.
Taken 9 months to get this meeting. Have you had any concerns with this administration, with its stance on even things the ambassador said about you in the past, the Australian ambassador?
I don't know anything about him. I mean, if he said bad, then maybe he'll like to apologize. Did an ambassador say something bad about him? Don't tell me. I don't. Where is he? Is he still working for you?
Yeah.
You said bad?
Before I took this position, Mr. President.
I don't like you either. And it probably never will.
But to be fair, Honk, Trump said it in good humour, and Rudd, not known for his sense of humour, took it on the chin. It's hard to hear in that clip, but he actually said that he withdrew the remark.
Wildly irresponsible question, though, isn't it? You know, from a Murdoch-owned Aussie journo designed solely to get Kevin Rudd, even at the expense of setting off an insane president.
But luckily it didn't, so I think we're all friends.
Yeah, I think we're all friends.
Well, that's good, because my wife is American, Honk.
Well, then you might get lucky tonight. Maybe mine some critical minerals. Who knows?
Okay, folks, time for shout-outs to listeners. We have loyal listeners all over Australia, of course.
Except for the town that shall not speak its name.
Indeed, and around the world. And some interesting locations this week, Honk, as always, including Redmond in Washington, which is best known for being the home of Microsoft.
Bill Gates is clearly tuning in.
That's right, and Seattle, Washington, just up the road, and the home of Amazon.
Oh, so Jeff Bezos is tuning in too.
And all we need is Zuck, and we've got the whole set.
Well, Zuck's definitely tuning in. He's just tapping our phones, isn't he?
That's right, having your WhatsApp groups. And around the world, Honk, we have Crema in Italy.
Yeah, well known for its coffee and its adult films.
Thank you. We've got Herne Bay in Kent, part of our Kent hotspot.
Don't forget Morton in Marsh in Gloucestershire.
And in the Marsh. And in Germany, we've got Frankfurt, Berlin and Munich. And in Asia, Honk, we finally made it to Jakarta. Although, now I think about it, that could have been me gallivanting in Bali.
No more Bali.
Okay, some lovely listener feedback this week as well, Honk. The acting Chief Justice was back in touch. He left this comment on Spotify. H&H, thanks for another terrific episode. I would be most grateful for an intro to Lady Rebecca for some elocution lessons.
This is from last week.
Yeah, she's a married woman, Your Honour, so you can't have any.
What is it with this show giving everyone the horn lately? Well, last week we had the married couple in Melbourne in the spa, now this.
We also heard from Roy Boy and the great Galicio, both regulars. The great Galicio said, quote, on a flight to Adelaide and just got to the discussion with the circumcision doctor, needed to bury face in hands. He also wrote, Prince Andrew, deserving winner, what a scumbag.
We might hear more on Prince Andrew later this episode.
Yes, great Galicio, you have not seen anything yet. And Honky, Roy Boy said, and maybe we should give this some context. Do you want to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, sure. There were these massive rallies across the US last week protesting against Trump and everything he's up to, especially the ICE deportations, but probably also the million other criminalities we cover on the show. These are the so-called No Kings protests.
That's right, they were huge.
Multiple cities. New York was there.
Washington, Chicago, Miami, LA, everywhere, small towns, you name it.
Yeah, estimates of crowds between 5 and 7 million people, probably by a long margin the biggest public protest in American history. But tell us how Trump responded.
So Trump posted an AI video of him flying a jet fighter plane, wearing a crown, bombing the crowds with shit. Literally with AI-generated video feces.
It was extraordinary.
Raining down. Anyway, listener Roy Boy hit the nail on the head. He said, with DT's video post overnight, he's proved he's not just a cunt, but literally a shit cunt.
Possibly call of the week, and yet that story does not make Trump our cunt of the week.
Well, I look forward to that segment.
Now, apologies, and we have two this week. First, terrible news. We got some feedback from a listener who's very politically active and switched on to say that he thought our take on the Phase 1 peace plan signed between Israel and Hamas seemed informed, thought through, and even researched. So, Henry, I deeply apologise to you.
As I do to you. It's against everything we stand for.
It is, but I'm afraid your apology is not good enough because not only did your opinions sound informed last week, but you were also right this week because, remember, you predicted the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas would fall over in about 7 minutes, and it did.
Well, I'd like to say sorry for that too, but I'm not sorry at all. I knew I was right. Yes, depending on what social media you saw, the renewed violence and murder is either all Israel's fault and the media are Zionist tools who aren't condemning it,
or it's all Hamas's fault and the media are all anti-Semite who aren't reporting it.
Or the third way, Honk. The middle ground. They're all cunts.
They're all cunts. Yeah. Israel, Hamas, the media, all of them.
All of them. Yeah.
But both sides, though, we should say, have reaffirmed their commitment to the ceasefire, which is good.
Except now, BJ Vance is there.
Yeah, that's right.
And that always goes so well.
They're all going to die.
Exactly. Now, Honky, that brings us to American carnage.
Yes, incorporating the firm of world carnage for which America is partly or wholly responsible.
How do you want to lead off?
I think we should start with a bit of the world carnage that America has helped fuck up, which is Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Trump's great contribution to playing both sides of the fence till he's got no skin, thighs, groins, or nads left.
To be fair, Honky didn't have any balls to begin with.
That's quite true.
In my view.
Look, we have lost count of the times, haven't we, on this show, that Trump has seemed to finally get that Ukraine is not at fault for existing as a country when Russia decided to invade it.
No, or just the number of times Trump said he's about to solve it, starting with his pre-second term campaign promise to solve it in 24 hours on day one of his presidency.
I think it's fair to say even we, cynics that we are, got our hopes up lately. We talked a couple of episodes ago. Last month at the UN in New York, Trump said he thought Ukraine, with NATO backing and maybe not US backing, could get back all the territory it had lost to Russia since the invasion and the war began.
And there was talk last week about the US selling Ukraine Tomahawk missiles, which are long range, giving them the ability to strike deep into Russia.
And then, high on his initial win with the Phase 1 Middle East peace plan, Trump was also indicating last week that solving Russia-Ukraine was going to be next.
And so he invited Zelensky to the White House this past week, and we thought maybe this was it.
Except it turns out Trump had spoken to Putin the night before, and the meeting with Zelensky went to hell. Have you read the reports?
This is like a time machine. This takes us straight back to March.
It's just
It's
unbelievable.
like the last 6 or 7 months never happened.
So Zelensky apparently had maps at the meeting saying, here's how I could see the sort of territory stuff working. Trump apparently threw the maps around, started swearing at him, warned him Russia had warned Trump it was going to, quote, destroy Ukraine unless Ukraine agreed to cede to Russia all the invaded territories Russia has already taken, i.e. the Crimea and Donbass. And Zelensky said, no deal.
I mean, what would be different to what Russia is doing now? He's threatening to destroy Ukraine. So what else is news?
Nothing. Our guess is Trump was, in fact, planning to cut a deal with Zelensky to take the Putin until Putin called and warned him.
Until Dad called.
And you have to wonder what else Putin said to Trump, right? I mean, further to speculation, we've discussed a lot on this show about Trump being compromised by Putin, either or both personally, or for having been an actual Soviet-Russian agent, all of which probably explains Trump's misplaced rage at Zelensky.
And Trump had already agreed to meet Putin again, this time in Budapest, one of the many places Russia has invaded in the past 70 years. Post the Zelensky meeting, though, Putin, via his foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, a real piece of work, has said no meeting. And it's not because Zelensky won't cede Crimea and Donbass, but because Russia now wants more territory than that. So Trump's claimed he cancelled the meeting, but we don't think he did. He just got played again. Why isn't the Taco King learning, Honky? Is it because he's so compromised he can't, or because he's so fucking stupid?
It's hard to know, and what's terrifying is either of those things is possible. And he's the notional leader of the free world. So now it's all fucked again, right? Russia's held a nuclear weapons drill in Putin's presence. Trump has now finally imposed sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, demanded an immediate ceasefire. But Holland and other European countries may now follow suit too, has announced it will scale back its sharing of Russian intel with the US, i.e. it just doesn't trust Trump, that he is not in Putin's pocket.
Now, Honky, the other huge US and world news this week is the release of the book called Nobody's Girl, which is the very sad memoir of the late Virginia Giuffre, long-time underage sex trafficking victim of Trump's late former best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, traditional owner of Donald Trump. Virginia ended up living in Australia, where she tragically suicided last year, leaving behind her kids.
Now, we should say this is all from the book, but content warning, it's pretty harrowing stuff, and this might be upsetting for some listeners. What we've read so far is worse even than you'd imagine. There's an explosive allegation about Virginia Giuffre having been choked and raped by a former minister or former prime minister, depending on where the book's published. There are a lot of reports that that's actually the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak.
Well, we're just worried Israel's PO is just too good at the moment, Honk. Things are going so well for them.
So true. Although another known visitor to Epstein Island, of course, was the former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, so it is unclear. There's one interesting twist in the book, which is that Giuffre, it turns out, was a fan of Donald Trump. She had been recruited by Epstein from Trump's Palm Beach club, Mar-a-Lago, where she worked. She says that Trump was always kind to her. She makes no allegations against him. But most of all, she said she liked him and she voted for him, in fact, because she thought he would release the Epstein files.
Wow. Well, any day now, Honky. But Honk, the book is a disaster for Prince Andrew. If last week wasn't bad enough, now this.
I mean, last week he was our cunt of the week, right, for his now proven lying about his connections with Jeffrey Epstein and when they ended.
Well, that was exciting for him to get cunt of the week.
That was all.
Might be the only title he's got left.
So true. Well, since we've seen that last week, he claims he chose to. He was clearly forced to give up using the title Duke of York. He actually was not formally stripped of it because he can't, but you can believe it. But now
so we've got some good news and some bad news. What's the bad news? You can't be Duke of York. The good news is you're cunt of the week. I'm very honoured.
But now the knives are seriously out among the UK MPs, who are understandably thinking that may not be enough, and they're exploring, in fact, how to remove that title and possibly his royal status altogether. And that hasn't actually happened to a member of the royal family since the First World War, since 1917. She makes these explosive allegations against Prince Andrew. I mean, it's so bad. She says that in 2011, when she first made these allegations, his first move was to give her birth date and social security number to his taxpayer-funded police protection and ask him to investigate, i.e. help him smear her. Now, that is actually something the London Met Police are now investigating.
It's disgusting.
She also says that she and Prince Andrew had sex 3 times. The last time, and again, content warning, in an orgy with other non-English-speaking underage girls and Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew. As a result of which she subsequently ended up being rushed to hospital with a miscarriage.
Oh, it's okay. It's revolting.
Appalling. Now, remember, as we said last week in his email to Epstein that Andrew sent 3 months after claiming to have cut off contact with Epstein, and he sent that email the day after that photo first appeared of Andrew with his arm around Virginia Giuffre in the presence of Ghislaine Maxwell. Prince Andrew, we said, signed off to Epstein with they'd stay in touch and, quote, we'll play more soon. And now we know what he meant. So he is totally disgusting and he is fucked.
Oh, that is horrible.
Horrendous, just shocking. And yet, even he is not kind of the week this week.
Well, we don't look kindly on repeat.
No.
Now, Honk, another big one this week, and this is a story that I'm really concerned about and tracking closely, and that is what you might call Pirates of the Caribbean.
They're not making another one, are they? I'm going to kill myself.
No, I'm talking about Trump having the US military blow up boats and murdering crew in international waters with no evidence, no charges, and no law authorising it.
Oh, thank God that's what you meant.
And we've talked about this for the past few weeks. So before this week, they'd blown up 6 boats and 29 people. They were at it again during the week. They blew up a semi-submersible, which probably was carrying drugs. They mostly are the little submarines. Except this time, a couple of the people on board survived.
And since they were such dangerous smugglers who were at war with the US, justifying their designation as unlawful combatants, surely the Navy took them to the US to face trial?
No, they sent them straight back to Colombia and Ecuador, where they were from.
What?
Just like you always do with murderers and prisoners of war, they captured them and then released them. So
what?
Clearly, you think, what grounds do they have to charge them? And it gets better. The Department of Homeland Security then proceeds to publish a photo of a would-be drug boat that they've blown up, which, to be fair, was a speedboat packed full of drugs. The only problem was the photo was taken off Spain 2 years ago. It had nothing to do with recent operations.
Are you kidding?
It was basically a Shutterstock photo of drug boat. Google drug
Did
boat.
Did it have image?
Getty Images. Brackets drug boat edition.
So was it actually a drug boat at all? Why did they send them back? Are you trying to say they weren't carrying drugs? What is going on?
Who the hell knows? They're blowing up random fishermen for no reason. Then when they do actually find smugglers, they send them home and publish a fake photo. The whole thing is such a shit show that the admiral overseeing operations in the Caribbean decided to retire after only a year in the role.
Please God, let him not decide to go boating, because they could go badly.
Well, indeed.
Well, presumably because he doesn't like to be ordered to murder people, right?
Exactly. And Rand Paul, who is now officially my favourite Republican, along with Thomas Massey, who's the one pursuing the Epstein files. But Rand Paul has a brain, a backbone, and some principles, and he absolutely nails it in this clip. Now, he's speaking to Piers Morgan, but thankfully we won't hear from Piers Morgan.
We have dangerous people in a lot of American cities, but we just don't go in and shoot them. We have trials, they get legal representation. And even on the high seas, it's been that way for generations. If you go off the coast of Miami, the Coast Guard will be stopping boats, and about 25% of the boats that they stop, that they're suspicious of drugs, there won't be any drugs on board. So 25% of the time the suspicion is wrong. And that's why we don't just blow up boats off of Miami, but neither should we be blowing them up off the coast of Venezuela.
And Honk, if that wasn't enough, this brings us to maybe the most staggering example yet of Trump corruption.
Which is saying something.
Trump is demanding the Justice Department pay him about $230 million in compensation for the federal investigations into him.
His own Justice Department.
His own Justice Department. Any settlement needs to be approved by senior department officials, most of whom defended Trump when they were Trump's lawyers, and who Trump has since appointed to the DOJ. Trump's got 2 claims running. One was made in 2023, and it seeks damages for the FBI and the special counsel investigating Russian election tampering and its possible connections to the 2016 Trump campaign.
Well, They were actual connections, right?
That's right. Investigate the actual connection. And the second complaint was filed in mid-2024, and that accuses the FBI of violating Trump's privacy by searching Mar-a-Lago, his club and residence in Florida, in 2022 for classified documents, which the FBI said Trump had illegally taken with him and mishandled.
Which he had, and which it found in the open, in boxes in the toilet. There's a photo of it.
That's right. Here's what he said about it.
I don't know what the numbers are. All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm looking for money. I'd give it to charity, any money. But look, what they did, they rigged the election. And as you know, in one case, 60 Minutes had to pay us a lot of money. George Slobodanopoulos had to pay us a lot of money because what they did was wrong. Now, with the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? And, that decision would have to go across my desk. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. Did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? But I was damaged very greatly.
He's potentially going to sign off on giving himself $230 million of taxpayers' money for things that were found to be true.
That's right. But Honky, the good news is he'll give the money to charity.
Yeah, his favourite charity, which I assume is himself.
Well, indeed. I mean, don't forget, Trump did have a charity called, wait for it, the Donald J. Trump Foundation.
Of course.
And in 2019, New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a lawsuit alleging the foundation had been illegally used to settle legal disputes, notably the one with Stormy Daniels, promote Trump's presidential campaign and purchase personal items. This is
right.
a would-be charity. So a New York judge ordered Trump to pay $2 million in damages to other charities, actual charities, dissolve the Donald J. Trump Foundation and give the remaining assets to other non-profits. Trump himself admitted misusing the foundation funds and agreed to the settlement. And that's how I met your mother, and that's why he hates Letitia James.
And that's why he's now indicted her through the Justice Department that he now controls.
Correct.
Oh, my God. It must be time before we all throw up the quick shots.
It must. And actually, Honk, our first quick shot is an actual quick shot. Pete Hegseth, the human jockstrap who runs the Defence Department for the time being, at least.
Yes.
He organised a live fire demonstration this week to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Marines. Except the proposal he signed off on involved firing live artillery shells from an M777 howitzer over the I-5 freeway in California between LA and San Diego. The M777s are bad boys, big suckers too.
This is clearly chosen by him as an act of intimidation against California, right, which is super democratic and incredibly anti-Trump. And also, live artillery shells over an LA freeway, as you said, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, nothing according to Hego, because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
But California Governor, the Trump nemesis Gavin Newsom, thought, maybe I'll just close the highway for 17 miles as a precaution.
Well, that sounds sensible, doesn't it?
It was, except he was criticised by the local Republican congressman and by BJ Vance for being overcautious. Vance went along to the event with Hegseth. Anyway, so the demonstration goes ahead with the highway closed. And one of the howitzer shells promptly explodes right over the highway.
Well, premature explosions are a problem for many of us around the world.
And so the shrapnel rains down on the highway and damages a police car, which is part of BJ Vance's own motorcade.
Unbelievable.
And even then, Vance bags Newsom again, basically saying, you're a pussy, it was only a flesh wound. It's nuts. Now, speaking of explosions and artillery, we have to mention the US $250 million Trump White House ballroom.
Yes, which of course Trump said would be adjacent to but not touch the existing White House.
Except Trump has literally demolished virtually all of the White House East Wing.
Did you know the new ballroom is going to end up twice the size of the entire rest of the White House?
Amazing. And Trump did it Aussie property developer style too when he couldn't get the plans through council. He just brought the excavators in the middle of the night and knocked it down. I reckon he might have poisoned a few trees as well that were blocking his view.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't show a picture on the podcast, but it looks like the renovation has been done by Hamas.
I actually heard it was Hamas. Trump told them there were Jews in there.
Of course, the White House honk doesn't actually belong to Trump.
No.
And he has no right to demolish it. It's a public building. That'd be like us demolishing the High Court. But what does he care? If he had his way, it'd be the Gold House. We don't know what the ballroom looks like yet, mind you. Maybe it will be.
There is, of course, another possibility. I mean, when he says ballroom, we're all picturing dinner and dancing. I know I was, but then I realised he spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein, right? All the nude massages, possibly the ballroom in something else.
Very maybe. Now, Honk, on a lighter note, the other quick shot this week I loved was AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is the hosting service for half the computer-using businesses of the world, which is most of them. It had a major outage during the week, which caused chaos, put businesses out of action all over the world, including a who's who businesses like Adobe, Amazon, including Alexa, Apple Music, Canva, ChatGPT.
People had to have an original thought.
We had to write a script for this
Oh,
episode.
shit, man.
Delta Airlines.
Well, on that one, no one could tell the difference because you could never get through. They never reply.
That's right, GoDaddy.
Now, I was disappointed on that one to discover that is a place to buy an internet domain name and not actually never mind.
It's got a ballroom. Hulu, McDonald's app, Microsoft.
Not once during that outage has a paperclip appeared once and asked if I need help writing a letter.
I remember that paperclip. Made you want to shoot your screen Elvis style. Anyway, so businesses, large and small, all over the world were affected by this outage. But my favourite was a business called 8 Sleep, and it has smart beds, and the smart beds went down because of the outage.
The fuck is a smart bed?
So I think it's kind of a biohacker, live forever, Silicon Valley type thing. And the outage had an unexpected side effect. The smart beds have no offline mode, so they're all stuck at high temperatures and in strange positions in the night.
What sort of boiling to death and folded up? Where they're like sort of toasties,
they're supposed to
human
give you the
toasties.
perfect night's sleep, I think. Anyway, but they got stuck because the servers went down.
We've all been stuck in bed at high temperatures and odd positions, haven't we?
How does a bed need Amazon Web Services? What happened to good old-fashioned beds? Or maybe it's got inbuilt anal massages.
This is why I always get the rechargeable battery sphincter intruders and I do not rely on AWS.
Honk, sex is better when you're not alone. Did you know that?
You can do it when you're not. I didn't know. Thank you.
Now, Honk, the other great thing about this story is how it was resolved. Obviously, the normal Amazon people couldn't fix it, otherwise they would have. So they had to call the guy. They put up the bat signal and called the guy who designed AWS in the first place. And he's a guy called James Hamilton. He holds the title of Senior Vice President and Distinguished Engineer at Amazon. So he's sort of a Hall of Fame guy there. Now, the complication is he lives on a boat.
Sorry, what?
So this guy lives on a boat. He doesn't go to the office. He lives on a very large boat called the Dorona. It's 52 feet long. It's mostly moored in Hawaii, but he's got a blog you can follow that has it sailing around the world, and he shares his adventures.
How long have you been living on this boat
He's
for?
been living on the boat for 16 years. AWS issued a status update about this, and it had a whole bunch of techno mumbo-jumbo about outages and the region and DNS resolution and DynamoDB and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it finally says, at 2:57 p.m., James Hamilton's yacht made landfall. By 3:01 p.m., 4 minutes later, all AWS services returned to normal operations.
There's a reason he can afford the boat. He's pretty good.
Park the boat, reboot the world, drop the mic.
That brings us to, of course, Cunt of the Week, our popular new segment.
Yes, we've had great feedback from listeners, Honky.
I was thinking of the feedback from all the cunts. They're just doing everything they can to get a mention now.
Yeah. What have you got?
Well, first of all, little music, please.
I'm a cunt.
Okay, first off, honourable mention. Doesn't quite make the list. Honourable mention to a gentleman named Christopher Moynihan. Now, this genius was involved in the January 6th riots at the Capitol in Washington 2021. He was convicted in jail for 2 years in 2023. He was pardoned by Trump in January this year, along with everybody else involved on January 6th when Trump became president again. And now, 9 months later, October, has been arrested for texting someone who immediately called the cops the guy's plans to assassinate the Democratic House Minority Leader, the New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
He's come back to finish the job. Or maybe he's got a special someone inside still doing time and he can't live without them. Maybe Diego.
Got to be Diego, the gang parrot.
Venezuelan gang parrot. Now, Honky, my nomination is, and it's not one individual cunt, but it's more responding to a class of cunts that I particularly hate. And they're the ones who put their phones on speaker on trains, planes, and other public places, rather than A, holding up to their ear like a normal person, or B, getting headphones.
God forbid. God forbid.
So the tweet of the week on that was from a fellow named Frey. It says, I finally did it. Someone was talking on the phone with loudspeaker sitting close to me while we were inside the bus. So I joined the conversation with full confidence. When she gave me that, "Are you mad?" look, I said, "Sorry, I thought it was a group call since you put it on loudspeaker for all of us." She quietly told the person, "I'll call you back," and ended the call immediately. That's had 173,000 likes and 6.1 million views.
God bless Frey. For actual cunt of the week, we have a head-to-head. Now, first, this is probably a joint nomination for Trump and for the person involved in the story. Trump has just pardoned the former Congressman George Santos. Now, just to recap, this guy's only 37 now. He was elected in 2022 from New York. He served 11 months in Congress, was expelled by the House, which has happened 6 times in history, by a margin of about 300 odd to about 100 odd. So tons of Republicans turfed him out. This guy pleaded guilty to identity theft and fraud. He was sentenced to and was serving 7 years jail. In his campaign, here's what he did. He lied about graduating from college, including NYU, lied about having worked for Goldman Sachs or Citigroup, claimed to be Jewish and the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. In fact, he's Catholic and his grandparents are from Brazil. Said his mother was the first female executive of a major financial institution and that she had worked at the World Trade Center, and he implied she died as a result of health issues arising from the 9/11 attacks.
Right.
In fact, his mother has been in Brazil since 1999 as a home care worker.
Still alive.
Still alive. Previously, he had stolen $3,000, get this, from a GoFundMe fundraiser for life-saving surgery for the dog of an impoverished US Navy veteran. The dog did not get the surgery and died. And during his
This is all true.
All true. And during his congressional campaign, this is what Santos used: campaign donations, often from individuals, wiped them out. He used them to buy Hermes, have plastic surgery and Botox, to travel, to pay off personal credit cards, and for an OnlyFans subscription.
Good Lord.
Now, as I said, he was serving 7 years jail. Trump has pardoned and freed him after 3 months. And here's the worst bit. How did he free him and why? Because Santos's great mate turns out to be the Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who lobbied Trump, and Trump caved to her in the hope to buy her off from her very public campaign to force the release of the Epstein files.
Oh, honk. We were just starting to like her.
I know, I had the same thought. But that is probably nothing compared to the other contender in our head-to-head. Take us through it.
Well, Honky, the other contender is a heavyweight, lightweight from the old school. I mean, we've had some A-grade, export-quality fucktards this year that have been confirmed by the US Senate. Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary, Kash Patel for FBI, Pam Bondi as Attorney General, RFK Jr. as Health Secretary. The list goes on. So how bad do you have to be, you've got to wonder, for the US Senate not to confirm you?
And that must be because
you haven't met Paul Ingrassia. Let us introduce you. He's been nominated by Trump to lead a thing called the Office of Special Counsel, and that's the independent federal agency in the US responsible for safeguarding the federal employment system, including protecting whistleblowers from retaliation and enforcing the Hatch Act, which is the act that restricts partisan political activity by public servants.
So obviously Trump wants a stooge in that role because he's against all of those things, isn't he?
Exactly. He doesn't want any of those things safeguarded. So he nominates Paul Ingrassia, who's 30 years old. He graduated from law school 3 years ago and was a lawyer for 1 year. This is the Office of Special Counsel, the US government. And during that year, he represented January 6 rioters, which is the only thing that got him the job.
Well, based on what you said before, this sounds like a US Senate confirmation slam dunk.
Right, he's completely unqualified and a complete stooge. The only problem is he's a Nazi.
He's a Nazi?
So it came out during the week, this Republican chat group.
Oh, yes.
All these text exchanges that somebody in the chat group leaked. So this is a Republican leaking against this guy. This is how bad it is. And it's got hits such as, this is Paul Ingrassia's tweet, MLK Jr. was the 1960s George Floyd, and his quote-unquote holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell where it belongs.
By the way, a tweet so bad that the response to that from another Republican in the group is, quote, Jesus Christ.
That's right. And he doubles down on his racism. He says, quote, we're making Kwanzaa illegal in the next Trump administration. No Moulignon holidays.
That's sort of a Soprano, sort of Italian-American sort of reference to black people, right?
From Kwanzaa to MLK Jr. Day to Black History Month to Juneteenth, every single one needs to be eviscerated.
Well, someone else in the group wrote, Paul belongs in the Hitler Youth with the Obergruppenführer Steve Bannon. And he writes back,
I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. I will admit it.
So what's happened?
Basically, he's withdrawn his nomination.
In other words, he's been made to withdraw his nomination. He's got no fucking chance of getting the votes, right?
Even the Republican Senate has said the guy is too racist for the Trump administration.
I love the bullshit.
I've decided to withdraw.
Yeah, that's like, we've said this before on the show, that's like us withdrawing our invitation to Margot Robbie and Sydney Sweeney to double date in a hot tub.
That's right. Although, Honk, it would be good to understand collateralised debt obligations in a bit more detail.
What?
That's what Margot Robbie explained in the hot tub in The Big Short about the GFC, remember?
Oh, I think I was focused on other things.
That was her big break.
Wasn't it The Wolf of Wall Street, in which I was also focused on other things?
By the way, the units of subprime mortgages packaged up to be tradable securities with a higher overall credit rating. That's not important right now.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, folks, that's all we have time for. And then some. We're skipping sport this week because it's that awkward time of the year between footy and cricket.
Aren't you watching the racing?
Okay, well, there's racing on as well.
With the World Series?
And the World Series. But we're out of time, Honk.
But the NFL?
Honk, I know you don't watch any of these sports.
What about highlight? That is the one. Kind of like ping pong and squash, the mafia of the 1970s.
Okay. Find us in all the usual locations, especially TikTok and Instagram. Please share us on socials, in your WhatsApp groups. It really helps us grow the show, and rate us, particularly on the Apple Podcast app.
And as we always say, please check out our show notes, which you can get from anywhere you get this podcast from, which has a rundown of what's in the show. From those show notes, you can send us a text and we'll read it on the show. You can send us a voicemail direct from the show notes. We'll play it on the show. And of course, as we always say, read our show notes for incredibly dumb jokes, even dumber than the ones you hear in the show. And they're only there because Henry always breaks into our episode in the middle of the night and writes them all. I don't know how that happens. We also want to hear from you. Please, we love your feedback, ideas for stories, things you've come across, news or personal about crooks, fuckwits and morons. We want to hear from you.
Meantime, we'll be back next week at the usual time of early Saturday morning, Australian Eastern Summer Time. Honk, we like to finish with some audio of particular crookery, moronification, Aussie-ness or fuckwitticism. Selection honours are yours this week. What have you come up with?
We've had a fair amount of musical, political satire at the end of the show recently. What we haven't had, though, I thought, for a while, was a musical piece to do with politics that's unintentionally funny.
Right, like a Trump Gaza type clip.
Yeah, well, that country song we played, that woman singing "Thank You, Elon Musk," or the remember
the
Aussie Liberal Party rap. What was that?
Oh, Albo's got to leave. Yeah, Liberal Party trying to be gangster.
Oh yeah, funny we talk about rap because that brings us to what you're about to hear. This is Valentina Gomez, age 26. She is seeking the Republican nomination for a super safe congressional seat in Texas at next year's midterms. Now, this is after she came sixth in the Republican primary for Missouri Secretary of State.
Oh, she made the top six.
She's not from Texas, but she's turned up in Texas, because they always love that in Texas.
Yeah.
She was born in Colombia. She's been in the United States since 2009.
Not the district of, the country of.
The country of Colombia. Now, she's been in the US since 2009. She's from Colombia, but of course, she hates immigrants, hates gays, hates blacks, and she especially hates Muslims. In fact...
Does she hate women as well, just to complete the whole set?
She does hate feminists, as you'll hear in the song. In fact, when it comes to Muslims, she released video of herself using a flamethrower to burn a copy of the Quran,
Right.
which pretty much got her banned from every social media platform. But she has managed to release this rap collaboration with someone called Huggies. And just wait till he comes into the song. We're going to post a video clip so you can also enjoy the weaponry that's on display in the video. This is the musical majesty of possible future Congresswoman Valentina Gomez, one of the most insane things we have ever heard. Thanks for your company. We'll be back next week because, as Henry always says,
stupid never sleeps.
I am America first, not benefiting my purse. I never sell out the people to raise my net worth. The Second Amendment is there to always protect my first. A better rapper than Lupe, and I don't even have to curse. Let's keep the American dream alive and put an end to all lives. BLM raised billions, and what did they do for black lives? Politicians promise you the whole world, then they backslide. What happened to Hunter's laptop? You know I'm always strapped up. Gun rights are women's rights. Feminists been sold a lie. God bless the whole USA, even the ones who hate me. I'm still fighting for you today, and no super PAC paid me.
America first, the